What's going on, guys? Hope you enjoyed me doing my best Nim Nim impression. Today, we're gonna head down to Fort Worth, down to Sci-Fi Factory. It's where I play my locals, and gonna vlog about it. I'm gonna try to see if I can get some OTS packs, get an Halky Fibrex, but hopefully just have fun, test out the new Orcus ratios I'm playing. But we'll run through the list, and we'll see how I do today. All right, let's look at what we got. Starting with the main deck, we run 3 Gearsu, super standard, 8 Foolish Burials. It creates a token if it's your first play, which can give you a Linkaribo, which can by itself give you a Galatea or a Verte Anaconda, whatever you're needing. If it doesn't get ashed, you can pop off. It'll probably get ashed, but that's kind of, it serves a purpose. Next, we'll do 3 Orcus Nightmare, very standard package here. Send it to the grave, banish it to get your World Wand, so Galatea can shuffle something back. Banish it to get your Symbol Skeleton. Whatever you need. I usually banish it for a World Wand on my turn, so Galatea can shuffle the World Wand back, and I can set Babel. On my opponent's turn, I'll use it to search Symbol Skeleton if I haven't gotten already. Speaking of which, next we have 2 Symbol Skeleton. Use it to get Dingirsu out of my graveyard, obviously. That's my biggest play. Galatea if necessary, but I like to make Ding to give them interruption on their turn, send their cards away. And then when I make Ding, I'll grab this as material to make sure it's there if I banished it. 1 of Brass Bombird. It is sometimes effective. I've considered cutting it. Not the greatest Orcus card, but it can save you in a pinch if necessary. And then 1 of World Wand for the Nightmare Galatea combo, and then 1 of Gizmek Orochi. This thing is like my backup win condition. If my plays are getting stopped, if I cannot recur anymore, if I'm getting slowed down. Banish 8, start putting bodies in the banish zone, and then eventually I go into Zero Boros and try to OTK. Moving on to my Phantom Knight package. Got 3 Torn Scale. This is probably my preferred normal summon, if depending on what's in my hand. Discard as cost, which is very nice. I can ditch the Orcus cards out of my hand or the World Wand if I'm unlucky. I can ditch the Dangers for their effects if necessary, but puts my Cloak in grave, which gives me my Silent Boots, which is the free summon. Make Link 2 really easy. Banish Boots to get your spell, and then you get to summon him back. Really good. And then 1 of Boots and 1 of Ancient Cloak. I was running a bigger Phantom Knight package, but I got tired of drawing my Phantom Knight cards. I can search them, I can send them. Don't really need them with Torn Scale and Bardiche both being able to search whatever I need. Straighten this. Next is my Danger package. I run 2 Thunderbird. I go back and forth between this and Bigfoot, but for now it's Thunderbird with a back row heavy format. People are setting traps. Want to be able to deal with it. And then I run 1 Jackalope, 1 Tsuchinoko, 1 Nessie, all the best ones. There are no downsides to these cards getting hit really, other than you go -1. But overall, super broken. That's why they're there. Next, we run an Apprentice Illusion Magician. Apprentice Illusion Magician can discard any of my Dangers and get the activation of the Danger. So if I need to ditch the Thunderbird out of my hand to hit a back row, and it puts Apprentice on board, I can discard it. I get my Danger effect, and I get to summon her. If I have Tsuchinoko, then I don't lose out at all by using this combo. Otherwise, she ditches Orcus cards out of the hand, dump the Symbol if I don't need it for the normal, dump the Nightmare, dump the World Wand, etc. Puts a body on the board, teases out a negate if necessary, but it sends for cost, so I can still get my Orcus cards in the graveyard, get my Dangers in the graveyard, and hopefully tease out a negate. Next up for some 1-ups, I run 1 Dark Grepher and 1 Armageddon Knight. Dark Grepher, kind of the same situation with Apprentice Illusion Magician. I feel like it's a little more minus. I discard 1, which if it's Nightmare, that's great, but if it's not, I lose out. And then I discard again 2 Foolish Burial. It's not my favorite effect in the world in this deck, but it's still very good and can get you out of a tight spot. Armageddon Knight, I would probably prefer. When it's summoned, send a dark monster. Don't have to loop myself for 2, especially if I really need them. But those are kind of my backup normal summons if I need them. Moving on, I run a Rocket Recharger and a Rocket Tracer. This is part of a small rocket engine. We'll get more into that later, but hopefully they're hand trap bait. If not, I just pop off. Run 2 Phantasme. It's my only hand trap in the deck. I have considered cutting it on multiple occasions. Eldritch is not making link monsters. These back row decks, Altergeist is not often making link monsters. Shadal's not making link monsters. Virtual World's not really making link monsters. And so I'm thinking about cutting it for the format. But it comes up and it's a dark, it's a level 8. So has its uses, can help me fix my hand if I have a bad hand. And then I run a Red Eyes and Dark Magician for the Dragoon package, obviously, which we'll get into. Set these aside. Going into my spells, start off with 3 Allure of Darkness. Just a really good card. Draw 2 and banish a dark. Every single monster in this entire deck is dark, and some of them can definitely be wasted as cannon fodder for a draw 2. Very strong. Next is 3 of Quick Launch. This is for my rocket plays. It's mostly there for bait. I want to bait out the Ash. I want to bait out some effect fillers, etc. What have you. If it goes through, I get to pop off. I get to actually make rocket combos. But otherwise, I'm hoping that they will waste their negates on my rocket plays so that my Orcus plays will be unhindered. Next is Orcustrated Return. Send an Orcus card to graveyard. Super good effect. And then draw 2. Literally no downside to this card unless your hand is desperate. And then 1 Orcustrated Babble. Searchable off Galatea, obviously. Turns my Orcus effects into quick effects. It's what makes the world go around. Phantom Knight, rank up Quick Launch. I can search it off Bardiche. Using it to turn Ding into True King of All Calamities. I'm expecting True King of All Calamities to be banned, though, and I think the backup plan is going to be turn Ding into Heart Earth Dragon, number 92, and banish my opponent's board at the end of their turn. Need to test it more. We'll see how it goes. Red Eyes Fusion for the Dragoon. Hopefully you don't draw that. And Boot Sector is part of the Rocket combo. Next we have Foolish Burial. Super obviously good card. Send a monster from deck to graveyard. In an Orcus deck, in a PK deck. All good effects. Really good. Moving on to traps, I run 2 Fog Blades. The goal is to set 1 with Bardiche or search 1, and then search the other off of Silent Boots. Sometimes I favor the Phantom Knight rank up Magic Launch instead, so I can VFD the next turn or set out my follow-up. I think 2 is a good spot, though. I don't want more than that. And then I run 3 Orcus Crescendo. Most people run 1, and I was running 1, and I didn't like it because I think Babble is the priority over Crescendo, so I can recur Dingirsu, put it in a zone that Bardiche is in, double pop for that effect, or get back my people, and then overall I think either you're not searching Babble, which I think is the wrong move, or you're searching Crescendo turn 2, which doesn't do anything. So I think having 3 is good. If you draw it, great. Because then you have it, and then you can search Babble, still set the Crescendo, be set up for your Galatea Crescendo play. If it goes to hand as the effect of a Danger or off the Apprentice Illusion, you get to search a Orcus card from the deck or the Gizmek if you need to. It's a really good card. I am liking it at 3 so far because I think it's just overall, I see it more and I don't have to waste time, so I can make the Babble play that I want to make. Moving on to the extra deck here. 1 True King of All Calamity. I don't go into it too often, but it's probably going to be gone soon anyway, so enjoy it while you can. 2 Dingirsu. Super good card. Non-targeting removal of any card on the field. There's just nothing better than that right now, as well as having the ability to protect my board from whatever may come its way. That came up today, which saved me a game. Linkaribo, you make it off of the Girsu token if it doesn't get ashed or shut down or whatever. Make the Linkaribo. Now I can go into Galatea or Verte, whatever I need. Striker Dragon for the Rocket play. Link it off, or link Rocket Tracer off for the Striker Dragon. Get the Boot Sector, tribute it back for the Rocket Tracer to the hand. You just pop off from there. 2 Galatea. Again, another card that makes the world go round. Searches the Babel. Can't be killed by battle with a link monster, which doesn't come up too often. And now I can make Dingirsu basically for free, so really good. IP, kind of a backup plan. I either use IP as a backup plan, or I end up making Bardiche with her for a little extra protection. But kind of makes my board a little safer if I can end on it with a full board, because then I'm not worried about removal stuff too much. Chain IP, rid the board and put something good on board, maybe a Nightmare or whatever I need. Verte Anaconda to dump Red Eyes Fusion, make Dragoon. Really good if it resolves. If they're a patient player that knows what's coming, they're going to save an effect spell or an imperm for this card specifically. But otherwise, good card. Bardiche, obviously, searches my Phantom Knight Speller Trap, puts Phantom Knight bodies in graveyard so I can use their effect, like putting Boots in grave to search my Fogblade or my Rank Up Launch, which obviously gives me my Torn Scale Recursion. Just overall, good combo piece. Longirsu, again, non-targeting removal. I have to shuffle back 2 banished monsters, which is sometimes a pricier cost than I want to pay, because often I can use those monsters and grab them back with Ding or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's non-targeting removal of up to 2 monsters, whatever it's co-linked with, or not co-linked, linked with, which can out Dragoon or whatever else is problematic, assuming they don't put it in your furthest right monster zone. Longirsu can get rid of it. Nightmare Unicorn, discard to shuffle back a card on the field. It does target, but it doesn't destroy, which is nice. And again, discarding an Orcus deck is not a problem. Topologic Zeroboros, backup strat. This is what Gizmek is for, mostly. If the game's getting too grindy, if I start to lose resources and can't keep up, make Zeroboros and start just dumping cards with Gizmek. It's a 50-card deck, so overall, very good. Next up, this is what the Rocket Plate ends on. I mill 5, puts Orcus bodies in graveyard, super good. And then finally, Dragoon, double pop, can't be targeted, can't be destroyed, negate for a discard, which again, it's Orcus, we want to discard. Very strong. Finally, for the side deck, it's not a full 15 cards. I'm still working on it. But for now, we have triple copies, Dark Ruler no more. If I go second, with enough interruption, I'll be shut down. Despite all the stuff I have to extend and debate, there's only so much you can do. So Dark Ruler just helps me wipe their entire board. Next up, 2 Twin Twisters and 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. Twin lets me discard, again, Orcus deck, to remove 2, which is good. Harpies is obviously just free removal, or it forces out a negate, but didn't want to run 3 Twin and a Harpy because that's just it's a lot to side out, and I don't really know what all would get sided out right now. And then finally, 2 Super Poly and 1 Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. At the end of the day, a lot of people at locals, they're going to be playing Dragoon. And so to deal with it, I'm just going to normal summon and Super Poly. I get a discard, puts Orcus body in grave. I get to make Starving Venom Fusion with their Dragoon, and then I get to pop off and win the game. So overall, it's not a extensive side deck, and I need to do more work on it, but it is one I'm satisfied with. So game 1, I'm up against Pendulum, best deck of the format, specifically playing Zephyreth, or Zephyra. Yeah, Zephyra, that's what it's called. So I'm up against Zephyra. He goes first, wins the die roll, starts to do pendulum things, ends on VFD, and not a lot I can do about VFD. He declares light. I'm playing Orcust, and none of my monsters are light, so I can activate in hand engrave, but when Ding hits the board, when Gala hits the board, etc., I'm not going to be able to get the Babel out, not going to be able to send this thing away or protect my board. Just not a lot I can do. I can put monsters on board, but they're not going to do anything to his board. And so I ended up scooping. Game 2, I go first. I draw a Red Eyes Fusion in the hand. My options were either YOLO the Dragoon or play with my subpar hand. I YOLO the Red Eyes Fusion. It gets ashed. It doesn't negate activation, it negates the effects. So I'm still stuck under my summon restriction. And so totally have a bricked hand. I end up trying to play through it, but there's just not much I can do. He gets to make his board. He sets up, he ends up making a Boral Sword, leaves me barely lethal. I start to get some plays going, start to get some recursion going, but end my board with the Galatea and a Ding. All he has to do is put 2,000 attack on board and hit me for the last 200 of my life points, which is not difficult to do. I had no more interruptions, and so he takes game 2 as well. Unfortunate showing for me in these first 2 games, but what can I say? Pendulum best deck, nothing I can do in that situation. It's just how the format goes. Next up, I lose a dice roll yet again. In fact, you'll see I don't win a single dice roll the whole day, and my deck is going first. And every single one of my opponents chose to go first, so just wasn't my day. Opponent starts off with Extravagance. My only hand traps in the deck are Phantasme, so I can't do anything about it. He gets to draw. Find out he's playing Cosmo. I have no idea what Cosmo does. They do a lot of things, and they're not even once per chain, or that's what it was ruled. These really old cards do they're kind of neat. Ultimately, I'm going to lose game 1 because I'm going to summon twice. I'm going to summon Tornscale, I'm going to put Silent Boots on the board, and he is going to summon Limit Me, something I was totally unprepared for. And I just don't have a lot to play through it. He starts putting his Cosmos on board. They're just bigger than things that I can get out in the span of 2 summons. And so game 1, he ends up just winning it. I can't really play through a summon limit, but game 2, I'm going to go first. I'm going to side against it. We'll see what happens. Game 2, I get to go first. Dark Magician glued to my hand as usual. Open 2 Fog Blades, which isn't terrible. Open the Quick Launch though, which is super good. So I start with the Quick Launch. I'm hoping to bait and negate, but he tells me that he has nothing and to just play, say no more. So I'm going to go through my Rocket plays. Going to make the Tracer, link it off into Striker to get Boot Sector. Striker's going to tribute or use its effect to tribute itself, grab Rocket back to my hand, Boot Sector the Tracer back onto the field, pop Boot Sector, summon Recharger. I'm going to synchro into my Chaos Ruler, the synchro that lets me mill 5. Basically, I'm just going to pop off here. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to build my board. My opponent is going to take one look at my board. He's going to draw the top card of his deck for turn, and he's just going to scoop. He can't play through it. I'm pretty sure I end on a Dragoon and with money in the graveyard and Babel on field, so nothing my opponent can do about it. Amen. We're going to go to game 3. I'm going to make sure I side against the summon limit, because if I don't have to deal with summon limit, then it's a free game. But otherwise, I'm kind of stuck if I can't out the back row. Game 3, I side in Twin Twisters, Harpy's Feather Duster, and Dark Ruler No Mores. Just trying to play through his board as much as possible. He's going to open Extravagance yet again. Again, I don't really have anything that can stop the Extravagance. But he's really not going to do a whole lot. He's going to end on Dragoon and a back row because he plays the Red Eyes Fusion. So Dragoon and 1 back row, that's all he's got. I'm feeling super good about it because it does nothing. And then I try to pop off. I start to try to bait out this Dragoon, and he summon limits me. So not a lot I can do. We're just gonna have to hold the L today. Game 3, I'm up against a player I know is playing a Blue Eyes Chaos deck. I had seen him playing earlier, so out of fairness, I tell him that I'm playing Orcus. He chooses to go first, but he absolutely bricks and ends up just like setting 1 and passing, which is super to my advantage because I opened hot garbage. I have a Fog Blade, basically a bunch of back row cards, and my Red Eyes Black Dragon, so I got nothing. I think I draw for turn the lore, just willing to YOLO the whole thing because I'm really desperate here. I draw an Orcustrated Return and a Girsu. I banish the Red Eyes. I just give up my ability to play the Dragoon this turn, or for the whole duel. I don't run more than 1 Red Eyes. But I end up, I play the Girsu, I get a token, I link it off for Linkaribo. My opponent says, "Oh no, Linkaribo," really sarcastically. I link that off for Galatea, and I start making Orcus plays, just really popping off. Opponent really can't do much about it. He's playing Chaos Max, he went first. I do make the Anaconda because I'm a fool. I forgot that my Anaconda had sent Red Eyes Black Dragon. So I'm going to miss lethal here because I can't resolve Anaconda and I gave up a lot of my board to make it. But that's okay. We're just going to set up for the next turn and pretend like it didn't happen. Opponent sets 1 monster face down, which is just, it's nothing that I need to be worried about. Poor guy really did brick hard from what he has told me. So we're just going to play through, hit his face down, and just clean up the game. All right, for game 2, I forgot to start the recording, but opponent opts for me to go first, which was a huge surprise. I think he wanted to OTK me with Chaos Max, but I just put up a disgusting board. I really have everything. I, again, don't make the Dragoon off my Chaos Ruler in the beginning. I milled the Red Eyes Fusion. It's whatever. Put up a huge board. Pass turn to him. He can't do anything. The one thing he tried to do got shut down by Dingirsu, and I shuffled it back. End up making Topologic 0 Boros. I'm just barely short of lethal here. I thought about getting the Gizmek, but I don't have a Nightmare in Grave. And the Nightmare I have is currently on the field, and I don't want to link away the stuff on my board. So I just smack him for what I got. and then pass to him. He will not put anything on board and end up scooping. Just double bricked. Isn't running an incantation engine, which I ended up suggesting to him. But best of luck to that guy. He really had the double brick. Yeah, no one likes to see it. But yeah. So those were the matches. All in all, I got totally destroyed. After the last game, I just dropped out the tournament, and it's like a 40-minute drive home for me. But I had fun playing through VFD, trying to play through Summon Limit. Honestly, they're not the worst things in the world. I didn't get Mind or Zombie World Rivalry, which was nice. Need to have better ways. I think I need more back row solutions to things like VFD. Because I'm a monster driven deck right now, so I don't have back row solutions. Also don't have much in the way of back row removal in the main. It's all sided, but if I don't draw it like I didn't against the Summon Limit player, I just lose. So still gotta tinker around, still gotta play, but those were the matches. Hope you guys enjoyed, and maybe I'll see you next time.